the winter patch has finally arrived and it brings in lots and lots of new features and improvements. Pretty much everything I've overviewed in my previous CTA videos over the past couple of months or so, but what I'm going to do is overview the entire patch to hopefully make things a little more easier to understand. I'm going to start with the new features first, and I think the best one to start with is a new hit marker and sight reticle customization. I can't put in words just how glad I am this is finally in the retail client. If we go into the gameplay options menu, then scroll down to the advanced menu, just look below, you'll be greeted with quite a lot of options here. Luckily we have a preview window on the right side so we can see exactly what's changed before leaving the menu. So as for my tweaks that suit me rather well, the normal hit marker I left all the colors set to 255% to make white. For the headshots I set it to 100% red, so of course that means when you get a headshot you'll see a red hit marker, pretty much exactly how it's like on hardline. And for a kill shot I have 100% green, which I found to be really nice. I'll be using this up throughout the gameplay so you can see exactly how it works out. We can also change the hipfire crosshair, but honestly for me I just left it on the default settings. I'm pretty happy where it's at. I don't see why I'll need to make it any bigger or change a color. As for the sight reticle, it's pretty much the same. We can change the color, size, and even the glow of your sight optics. I've been saying this for a while now, but the reticle on the Coyote sight was just way too damn thick. But like before, go into the gameplay advanced menu and we can tweak it to your liking. So like you can see here, I found 100% for the size and 130% for the glow. Also keeping it at 100% red worked pretty well for me in all situations. I know it might be hard to see on YouTube here, but even in the high contrast snow glare, I can still see the reticle just fine while using the Coyote or the Cobra sights. Also, moving over to vehicles, you can now change the entire HUD depending on what vehicle you're in. Once again, all this can be found in the gameplay advanced menu. As you can see here under the specialized vehicle HUD section, I can change my tank HUD like you can see in the background to whatever you like. I decided to try a pink. Honestly, it wasn't too bad. I just kind of thought it would be too bright. We can also do this for air vehicles under the helicopter and jet pilot HUD settings. Once again, just for the sake of this video, I changed it to pink, but overall a lot of really nice functionality for HUD customization. And staying on topic with awesome features, another feature that's been added is the new in-combat squad spawn suppression system. The proper name for it isn't actually that long, I just decided to add in more words. But basically, you know those times where you might be in a 1v1 gunfight, then out of nowhere one or two squad members spawn on the enemy player trying to kill. In the matter of seconds, it's gone from a 1v1 to a 1v3. Seeing as we have the really awesome spawn protection system, it will most likely mean you'll die rather quickly. Well, with this new squad spawning system, if one of your squad mates is being suppressed, you'll see this in combat message like you can see in the bottom left, which means you cannot spawn on him until about 2 seconds after the suppression effect has gone from your squad mate. So this works both ways. Like I said before, no more 1v1 gunfights that suddenly turn to a 1v3. And those times where without thinking, which I have to admit I do quite often, you just spawn on your squad mate and die instantly because you spawned in the middle of like 5 enemy players. This system will also stop you from doing that. Another pretty major tweak is better soldier collision. So like I said before in my other videos, no more getting stuck on a tiny rock or a slight step. This is probably one of the most frustrating faults of the game before the patch, especially during those times in a heavy gunfight. You may be trying to avoid taking damage or trying to reposition yourself, and out of nowhere you get snagged by almost nothing, which results in you being shot. That has happened to me so many times, so I'm pretty happy this issue is gone for good. And even more major tweaks, this one a lot of players have been waiting for. The cooldown from when you can start to heal from the medic bag has been massively reduced. Previously you had to wait like 8 seconds before you can even start to receive healing from the medic bag. It's been tweaked down to about 2 seconds or so. Like you can see here, I can heal pretty quick. But it really does depend on what weapon is shooting you and how long the suppression effect has affected your soldier. But like I said, it's still around that 2-second mark. And staying on topic with healing, the medic kit got a fairly major buff. So that's a small bag, you can pick it up even when you're under suppression. So that means I can pick up the medic kit and heal while being shot at, but as soon as you take direct damage you lose healing. I'm going to play around with it for a while and maybe see if I prefer it over the medic bag in any situations. I might do a video on it next week, But overall, lots of much needed improvements to the medic bag and the medic kit. So, Netcode, the winter patch has brought in some fairly major improvements here. As we can see from this image for infantry, network updates are improved by adding a close range and a long range cone to the high frequency update. Also, on top of that, health, damage, enemy plays and vehicles will be prioritized over everything else, which is really good news. Vehicles got a similar cone added to the high frequency update. As you can see by this image, vehicles got a large frontal cone to improve collision and also got a long range one as well. Also, bandwidth has been almost cut in half to quote the patch notes, so that's a fairly major optimization improvement there. That means less overhead on the servers, which hopefully means they can handle the load a lot better, especially on 64 player servers. The main question is though, this all sounds well and good, but how does it feel in game? Well, I'm not going to say a definite answer. I'll wait for about 2 weeks of testing. But in the first couple of days since the winter patch, I've noticed a fairly major improvement in hit reg. It feels more solid and tight, like every bullet actually is being registered. But like I said, we'll see if it stays like that in about 2 weeks or so, which I really do hope it does because BF4 plays so much more better. Squad Obliteration is a new competitive game mode which I hope to see some servers running it. It's basically the original Obliteration game mode but scaled down to 5 versus 5. It's more balanced and obviously preferred for competitive play. There's no vehicles, no parachute spawns, pretty much a first team to destroy 2 of the 3 bases wins a game. But the one thing I really like is the bomb carrier position is only known to the enemy team if spotted, which I think is absolutely needed to keep it competitive. I'm going to do a more detailed video about this game mode once I get some gameplay footage. So as for the more smaller tweaks, console server admins now have the option to turn off snap aim assist. I know this will make a lot of console players happy. We also have improvements to helicopter physics, so that means you can do barrel rolls and go upside down and all kinds of crazy things like that. There's new improvements for the UI showing you some details about your squad mates and players inside a vehicle. As you can see here, I can choose to show ranks of whoever is in my squad also when inside a vehicle. So as you can see here next to the player names, I can see the ranks. I can also set to show the type of class who's occupying a vehicle with me, which is great to know, especially if you want to find out if you have an engineer or not with you. Also within the advanced gameplay menu, we can choose to have some additional details display on the deploy screen, which includes vehicle occupants, vehicle loadout, so you can see a loadout of a particular vehicle. And we can also show ranks and the class of whoever is inside, which is really good. Another tweak is footsteps. They are a lot louder. This includes both friendly and enemy footsteps. Pretty much I think how it works is footsteps will still be audible over explosions and things like that. And for a feature I really like, there's a new control setup for vehicles. If you go into the controls menu then select advanced options, you'll see decouple aiming from turn-in. So to show you guys what this does, I'll leave it turned off, which is the default setting. As you can see here, if you turn your vehicle, your gun also turns with it, which can be slightly annoying for trying to stay on target while turning. If I go back and turn it on, as you can see while turning my tank here, notice how the gun doesn't turn with it, which is a really nice feature to have, and it makes controlling vehicles like this so much more nicer. Well, in my opinion anyway, it does allow you to keep your aim on your target a lot easier. If you're mainly a tank driver, I highly recommend to try it out. Also, this used to be an Easter egg, believe it or not, if you had a gamepad, but obviously it's been turned into a feature you can simply turn off and on. I do recommend to read the entire patch notes because there's just so many little tweaks here and there I just can't mention in this video. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you'd like to read them. But other than that, I'm pretty damn happy we finally have these improvements. BF4 feels so much more of a solid, feature-rich game that I wish we had on release. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure to let me know your thoughts about the winter patch. How is it treating you? What's been your favorite improvement? Have you had any negatives? Leave your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.